The final score, Wrexham 2, AFC Wimbledon nil. Really pleasing performance and a pleasing result. But I think we need to talk about Wimbledon first for a number of reasons. I was impressed with them. I was highly impressed with them. And for the first quarter of the game, quite frankly, I think they offered a lovely blueprint of how to play against us at the racecourse. They got it spot on tactically. Their approach was fantastic. And two things changed the game. One was our quality. This does happen sometimes. Teams are able to execute their plan against us for a bit, but then, especially at the racecourse, we tend to pull ourselves back into the game. A combination of the terrific quality that we've got in this club, the terrific experience we've got in the club. We have players who don't panic, and also of just that confidence of knowing that we usually find a way. So that was a big part of why we came back to, in the end, win comfortably. The other part of it, let's be honest though, was that Wimbledon were missing a number of key attacking players. Don't want to denigrate the players who played for them. In fact, there was some good promise up front for them. But you just wonder if they had Al Hamidi up front, who has scored 17 goals and got 7 assists in all competitions this season. If they had Omar Beguil up front, who's one of the best target men in the division, then that attacking approach might have been a bit more effective. Josh Nerfil was also missing. He's a quick, wide player who's often caused us issues. And as well, Harry Pell, who, well, certainly made an impression on Wrexham, made an impression on Elliot Lee with a bit of a wild tackle when we played up at Plough Lane. You know, he's the sort of big, awkward guy who causes issues. And I just wonder if we were a little lucky that those players weren't available. Because if they were, maybe Wimbledon might have taken advantage when they were in front, and that would have really put a challenge in front of us. But anyway, to tell the story of the game, Wrexham unchanged from the excellent win at Shrewsbury. But in the first quarter of the match, as I said, were outplayed by AFC Wimbledon by a considerable margin. Wimbledon's got it right. Played 4-3-3. That front three would pressure our centre backs when we had the ball, just to slow down or make it more difficult for us to build patiently. And then the 4-3-3 also allowed them to match us up in the middle of the pitch in midfield as well. So there was a lot of square passing by Wrexham, which I applaud, to be honest, because they were looking to try and move the ball around. But they weren't doing it because the three Wimbledon players were going essentially man for man with them and were stopping them from getting the half turns in and making it difficult to pass it forwards. Their fullbacks, therefore, were also able to push up and force our wing backs back, or at least force desperate attempts to find them from distance, which often didn't work. And Wimbledon just nailed it. They got it so right. There was an interesting little instant. Nobody seemed to notice. After 30 seconds, Wimbledon went long into the box. Their centre forward, Davidson, was looking to pressure Tozer. The ref gave a foul to Tozer for, in my eyes, nothing. Davidson was on his back and hassling him. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a striker. You're trying to cause problems. When you looked at the replay, Tozer handled it. Whether a ref, well, would give a handball for it, I don't know. His arm was away from his body. It wasn't intentional. I guess you might argue Davidson's pressure was forced his arm onto the ball. But I think it's more that nobody saw it. It was on the wrong side for the linesman, and Davidson was covering Tozer's arm so the ref couldn't see it. But it was also on the blind side for the Wimbledon fans, so they couldn't make a noise and make the referee think about it. But looking at it, could have been given if it had been seen. But they continued to pressure. Sasu down the left, coming inside, was really, really effective and outstanding in the early stages. Ball and Davidson up front were both big figures who were able to win headers. And Wimbledon were getting to the second balls. Sasu whipping it across into the box. Ball nodding it down to the far post. Davidson looked to have a simple tap in, but Cleworth did brilliantly to spin and stretch a leg out and time it to perfection. It would have been a penalty if we got it wrong and poked the ball away. Fabulous defending by him. But then it was Ball with a smashing little flick round the corner, picking out again Sasu in the left channel, drives to the edge of the box, smashes a terrific strike, which even a Conquo can't respond to, flicks the top of the bar and goes behind. Then Reeves, he and Little were a good double pivot in the middle of everything, feeding it onto Sasu, helped it round the corner. The high-rated fullback Curry on the left stands the ball up to the far post. Davidson gets up, heads it well over. Should have done better, really. Wrexham finally had some threat. Pretty much halfway through the first half, a clever little free kick by Tozer, feeding it on for Fletcher, who turned and played an excellent pass into the box. McLean got goal side with the centre-back Johnson and was in on goal. He went down in the box. Should have tried to be stronger and got the shot off, I think. It was shoulder-to-shoulder contact, and I think the ref was quite right to turn down the appeals. And while Wrexham appealed, the ball was played up the other way end, and Sasu again broke away. He's only 18, this lad. He's got something about him, but his shot on this occasion was too straight and too weak, and an easy take for a Okonkwo. Wrexham started to get into the game a bit more at this point. Whether there was just a little turn down in the energy of Wimbledon's pressure, I don't know. But Wrexham started to get the ball down and started to force Wimbledon, as Wrexham were patient with it, back into a deeper position, and then Wrexham could start probing and prodding. And of course, this is something we do very well in home games. An excellent long spell of pressure where Wrexham moved the ball quickly, ended with Cannon with a good chance to shoot on the edge of the D. Instead, he helped it onto the right flank. Forward swept in across, and Lee managed to get up between the defenders. A great chance with his head, but he headed it too straight at the keeper, and would have been very frustrated. Lee, not the biggest, but very good in the air. Wimbledon went straight up the other end, and again had another opportunity. Tilly driving forwards, this time down the right channel, working it wide to the full-back, Belair. He set up a good cross to the far post. Cluas, though, did well to back into ball, and ball just didn't control his header and put it over the bar. Before the first minute of added time, Wrexham has another opportunity, this time a long throw-in by Tozer. Tozer's throws were causing issues. Fletcher this time helped her on nicely. Mullen beyond the far post tried to score, but it was a difficult one. He had virtually no angle to work with. He managed to place it over the keeper, but it wouldn't drop down accurately for him, and it landed on the roof of the net. A massive turning point came 2 minutes into the second half. Wrexham started the half as they finished the last one, trying to get forwards, but then were caught on the breakaway. A long ball forwards, ball with another excellent little flick round the corner. Tozer, slightly wrong-footed by that deflection, missed his interception, and Davidson was completely clear on goal, driving through the middle at Okonkwo. He put it a good yard wide of the right post. Really poor miss, although I've got to say, Okonkwo deserves a lot of credit for this. You know, he stood his ground, he got his angles right, he didn't commit at all. He forced Davidson to make the decision, and ultimately, that was what did for him. It was a really fine piece of goalkeeping. And Wrexham capitalised on that because we really started to get a grip. 3 minutes later, Ford feeding the ball into the box, Lewis only heading it to the edge of the area, Lee stretching and meeting it really powerfully as he slipped onto the floor, driving the ball in. It took a deflection, an excellent save by the goalkeeper, and the ball span back out, and then Fletcher, wow, my goodness, what a treat from Fletcher. He gets the ball about 15 yards out, even though the keeper's scrambling back up. He has no real sight of goal, and where most players would just thrash it back and hope for the best. Oh, my word. He took it under control. He was so patient. He protected the ball so well, going from in to out across the penalty area, waiting, looking for that opportunity. And finally, he found one, and he chipped it over the keeper from only about, 15 yards out. A beautiful piece of technical play. It hit the bar and bounced away. What a fantastic piece of work by Fletcher. Wimbledon responded. Davidson holding the ball up really well, filling Tilly in, then again down the right channel. He cut inside and had a real sight of goal from the edge of the area, hit it well. Evans lunging, got a good block in though and put it behind for the corner. And then it was down the other end. Fabulous diagonal by Cluas, measured to perfection. Belair got underneath it because he thought he could win it, but it just drifted beyond his reach and picked out Fletcher, who helped the ball inside. McLean, he drove inside from a tight angle. As he got into the box, it looked like a pullback was the best option. He went for the shot instead. To be fair to him, it wasn't that far off target, but it cleared the bar and Wrexham's opportunity was gone. However, the goal was coming. Wrexham were really starting to get on top now. The midfield were looking impressive. Evans was impeccable. Lee really came to life in the second half. Cannon's energy was good. We had good width, and we got the goal from a set piece in the 62nd minute. James McLean whipping a puck across to the far post. Fletcher managed to lose his man, turns up unmarked 6 yards out. Something I'm enjoying about Fletcher is these are the sort of chances that at this level, yeah, go in quite a bit, but players miss them. He just, if he loses his man and he gets the ball in the shooting position, so far he's been really clinical. He met it with a lovely side foot volley, real power, and arrowed it into the roof of the net. No chance for the keeper. A simple but beautiful goal. Soon after that, Wrexham had a shout for handball against Belair in the box, but I really don't think it held any water. Before Reeves, because still Wimbledon were looking good on the breakaway, fed the ball forwards. And, well, it was dangerous moments as the ball was helped in. Cleworth battling with Davidson. Absolutely brilliant defending. Cleworth, the last defender, Davidson all over him. Cleworth did superbly to get between man and ball and feed a header back to Okonkwo that wasn't overhit, didn't cause the keeper any problems. And Wrexham got the second goal in the 70th minute. Fletcher again dropping off and doing well, working it wide to McLean. McLean again centred a fabulous far post cross. Mullin jumped, it was just beyond him, but it hit Curry and bounced straight back down, and Mullin, like a flash, span and lashed it into the net from some close range to give Wrexham some daylight. Daylight they deserved. Although Wimbledon were breaking well still, Wrexham were really starting to dominate and look impressive. Wrexham made a couple of changes after that. Barnett came on 4 forward on the right wing-back position, and Dalby came on for Fletcher. And immediately the two wide players were starting to get involved again. A nice piece of work ended up in a surprising miss by Wrexham in the 73rd minute. It was a fabulous move. Mullin at the start of it, helping it round the corner. Dalby sweeping it quickly out to the flank. McLean received it, beat his man, and ripped in the perfect cross to the far post. And Mullin, completely unmarked, 6 yards out, missed. It was a real shock. He headed it down into the ground and headed it too far down, sort of almost to his feet, and it just bounced up slowly for the keeper to field. A real sitter and a real surprise. Wrexham kept asking the questions. O'Connor had a free kick from the left channel about 25 yards out, which he put just over the bar. Cannon, who again had put his ball in his line over and over, was replaced by James Jones. And to be fair to Wimbledon, they finished strongly with a couple of decent chances, which again, I'm sure from the way ends made them cry out for Al-Hamadi and Bugil. Belair sweeping in a good ball to the far post, and Sasu, who had faded in the second half, swinging his foot at it, a total air shot. And there'd be another one with 3 minutes left. A lovely cross by Wimbledon substitute. There, McLean, across to the far post. Another air shot as Davison tried to volley it home. Wrexham brought on Ollie Palmer for the last couple of minutes for Mullin, which was great to see because, of course, Wrexham have been concerned by the injury that he picked up, and it's really good to see that he's back in contention and able to be on the pitch again. And we saw it out comfortably in the end. An excellent game. Very entertaining game. And a lot of good performances by Wrexham. I want to say about Okonkwo, he didn't have that much to do, apparently, but I think he played quite a big part in the win. It was partly because he was dominant in the box. They were getting quite a lot of crosses in from the fullbacks. The wide attackers were coming inside, the fullbacks were going outside, and they were getting decent delivery in. But Okonkwo was dominant in the box. Also, that save, well, not a save. This is my goalkeeper head coming in now. When I was playing, if somebody's one-on-one with me and I get my angles right and I stay on my feet and I make them try and hit the corners and they miss, I'm having that as a save even though I didn't touch it because I've made them do something they didn't want to do. And that's exactly what I did with Davidson, who was totally clear through the middle. But Okonkwo was so calm and Davidson buckled under that pressure. Also, his distribution was good. He was trying to get the ball moving quickly. When Wrexham were really struggling, he just wouldn't go long. He was always looking to pass to feet to get us to do what we should be doing, moving out from the back. So kudos to Okonkwo, who, without actually doing anything eye-catching, was quietly excellent, I thought. The centre-backs, again, O'Connor looks so good on the left-hand side, brings the ball forward so well, and was untroubled defensively. Cleworth was terrific. I was toying with the idea of him as man of the match. I thought some of his interceptions were brilliant. He handled the physicality of the two strikers really well. and played one wonderful ball forwards, which led to a good chance. Tozer had a couple of little edgy moments, but in general, again, was that towering central presence that Wrexham needed. On the wing backs, well, Ford had a good game. Um, he was solid defensively. He was forced back a little more than he wanted to be, I think, but he still gets forwards. He still puts in a good quality of cross. Barnett replaced him. It was more of the same as well. Barnett was very energetic. On the left, we made James McLean man of the match in the commentary, and I agree wholeheartedly. He was terrific. I mean, he's just so ferocious in his desire to win. He ripped in a glorious assist for the first, and then the second cross isn't an assist because it ricochets off Curry, but it ricochets off Curry because it's such a good cross. And Mullin was nearly there to nod it in anyway. Fabulous performance by him. He's constantly going at players, constantly looking to make things happen. Fantastic all-action performance by McLean. George Evans is another man of the match contender for me. His quality in the ball, again, following up from the Shrewsbury game, or following up for his last 6 or 7 games, frankly. Now he's really got match fitness. Brilliant. Brilliant to watch. He's so good on the ball. Cannon's energy, as I said. He puts his body on the line, showed great heart, carried the ball forwards well. And then on the other side, Elliot Lee had a quietish first half because we struggled to get going and he was having to focus on his positional discipline. In the second half, though, he started pulling out the tricks, playing with great confidence. Brilliant to watch. Up front, right, I'm going to say it. Mullin had a bad game. It was weird. He got a goal, and so therefore it's a success. But he had a strange old day where just things wouldn't quite go right for him. He missed that great chance, missed a couple other much more difficult chances, to be fair. And just in general, his link-up play wasn't quite right. Don't know why. I guess he's human. I guess. So fair enough. Alongside him, Fletcher, in the first half, had to do a lot of defensive work. He won a few good headers from corners and was dropping quite deep to try and join in. In the second half, he really started hurting Wimbledon. Classy performance by him and another nice goal. And he's starting to come alive, isn't he? Wowee. What a prospect. So a fine performance by Wrexham against a good quality side. I mean, Wimbledon came into this in the bottom playoff position. And certainly when they get those injured players back and the 2 players, El Hamadi and Bugil, who are in the Asian Cup, I think they'll be comfortably in the playoffs. They look to me to be much better than the sides around there in the table who've come to the racecourse. But Wrexham still got that good result. So, yeah, excellent day's work. With a final score of Wrexham 2, AFC Wimbledon 0, I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.